What if I told you that some names were so dangerous they were erased from history? Names that hold forbidden power, capable of deceiving, corrupting, and leading entire civilizations astray. These names were once spoken in reverence, whispered in fear, and invoked by those who sought hidden knowledge. But they were also condemned, sealed away in ancient texts, hidden from the eyes of the world. Yet their names did not disappear completely. Some of these names survive in ancient pagan rituals, whispered in secret by those who seek power beyond what was meant for man. Even today, certain secret societies and occult groups invoke these fallen ones, believing that their knowledge can still be accessed. But the question remains, who were they? And what role did they play in shaping the destiny of mankind? Today we will uncover these names. Angels who defied the Most High, imparted forbidden wisdom, and led humanity into destruction. Some were cast into darkness, chained beneath the abyss, awaiting their final judgment. But others might still be among us. Before we continue, welcome to Bible Stories. If you love uncovering hidden biblical truths and ancient mysteries, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Now let's begin. The rebellion of the fallen angels was not just an act of defiance, it was a calculated attempt to establish a parallel kingdom, a world where they, not God, would reign supreme. In the days before the flood, when mankind was still young, a group of powerful angels known as the Watchers descended to earth. According to the book of Enoch, these angels were meant to watch over humanity, to guide and protect them. But instead, they abandoned their divine purpose and sought to reshape the world in their own image. It all began with Shemihasa, the leader of the Watchers. He looked upon the earth and saw that mankind was vulnerable, unknowing of the mysteries of the heavens. He and his followers desired to rule, to be worshipped like gods. But to do so, they needed to empower humanity, not to lift them closer to God, but to bind them in servitude to darkness. The fallen angels devised a strategic plan, a blueprint for domination. They would not wage war openly against heaven. Instead, they would corrupt mankind from within by gifting them forbidden knowledge, knowledge that would forever separate humanity from their Creator. The secrets of the heavens, now in the hands of men. One by one, the Watchers began to share their celestial secrets. As the influence of the Watchers grew, so did their kingdom of corruption. They did not only teach, they ruled. These fallen angels set themselves up as gods, demanding worship from the humans they had deceived. They took human women as their wives, creating a hybrid race known as the Nephilim, giants who ruled with brutal strength and unmatched power. Genesis 6:4. The Nephilim, these half-angelic beings, became tyrants, kings who enslaved mankind. They established mighty cities, towering temples, and vast kingdoms that glorified the fallen instead of the Creator. The world was no longer a place of peace. It had become a kingdom of bloodshed, corruption, and chaos. But the fallen angels were not satisfied with merely ruling mankind. They had another plan, a final act of defiance. They sought to pervert the very creation of God. They experimented with life itself, corrupting the genetics of animals, fusing creatures together in unnatural ways. The ancient world was filled with strange, monstrous beings, chimeras that defy the order of creation. God had seen enough. The corruption of the fallen had reached its limit. Judgment was coming, and when it did, it would wipe their kingdom from the face of the earth. The Watchers' corruption had spread like a plague across the earth. With each passing generation, humanity grew further from God, ensnared in the secrets and deceptions of these fallen beings. But their rebellion was not the work of a few rogue angels. It was an orchestrated uprising, one led by powerful entities whose very names were feared, and in some cases, erased from history. The leaders of the rebellion. Among the fallen, some names stand above the rest, being so powerful that they were directly responsible for humanity's descent into sin. Shemihasa, Enoch 6:3, the leader of the Watchers. He was the first to make the pact, convincing 200 powerful angels to abandon their divine duty and descend to earth. Shemihasa knew the risks. He knew that this rebellion would bring God's judgment, but he did not care. His desire to rule, to be worshipped as a god, was greater than his fear of punishment. Azazel, Leviticus 16:10, Enoch 8:1. the master of war. If Shemi-Haza was the leader, Azazel was the teacher of destruction. He taught men how to forge swords, craft armor, and wield weapons of death. Before Azazel, mankind had no concept of war, but after him, the earth was soaked in blood. His name became so cursed that, during the time of Moses, a ritual was established in Israel to send a scapegoat into the wilderness to Azazel as a symbol of removing sin. Leviticus 16:10. Barakijal, the manipulator of fate. He revealed the mysteries of the stars not for wisdom, but for control. He taught men astrology, the ability to predict and manipulate destiny. Kings and rulers, instead of seeking God's will, placed their faith in the movements of the heavens, believing they could twist fate to their advantage. Penemu, the master of deception. Enoch 69:8. He introduced the art of the lie. Before him, mankind spoke plainly, but Penemu gave them the ability to twist words, deceive, and manipulate. He taught the power of the written word, but with it came falsehoods, forgeries, and deceptions that led entire nations astray. Kokabiel, the lord of sorcery and dark mysticism. Kokabiel's teachings brought star worship, divination, and occult rituals into the world. He whispered to men that the stars held power, that by aligning themselves with celestial forces, they could bend reality to their will. The first temples to false gods rose in his honor, and entire civilizations were built upon the worship of the heavens rather than the Creator. But these were only the most well-known names. Many others took part in this rebellion, their influence hidden in ancient texts, angels whose powers went beyond mere corruption. The lesser-known names with hidden meanings. Some of these angels were lost to history, buried in forgotten texts, their influence overshadowed by the more infamous rebels. But their impact remains, and their names still hold dark power. Sariel, the angel of forbidden healing. Unlike the others, Sariel's knowledge was not of war or deception. It was of life and death. He taught mankind how to manipulate the body, to alter the natural course of life itself. Some say his secrets led to the first attempts at unnatural immortality, the pursuit of godhood through forbidden science. Tamiel, the master of necromancy. Tamiel's sin was greater than sorcery. He revealed how to speak to the dead, to summon spirits, and to commune with the underworld. His teachings led men and women to seek knowledge from demonic entities rather than from the wisdom of God. Entire cultures became obsessed with the afterlife, creating rituals, spells, and incantations to call upon the spirits of the departed. Yekon, the first instigator. While Shemi-Haza was the leader of the rebellion, Yekon was the first to plant the seed of defiance. Some ancient sources suggest that it was he who whispered the idea of rebellion into the ears of the Watchers, stirring in them a desire for more than servitude to God. Gadriel, Enoch 69:6, the deceiver of mankind. Gadriel's name is rarely mentioned, but his influence is undeniable. According to the book of Enoch, it was Gadriel who deceived Eve in the Garden of Eden, not Satan. He was the one who brought the first act of sin into the world, and later he taught humanity the art of war, much like Azazel. Kasdeja, the master of mind control and enchantments. He taught humans how to bend the will of others, using dark enchantments and manipulation. His influence led to the rise of powerful rulers and priests who controlled their followers not with wisdom, but with sorcery and deception. The fate of the fallen. The corruption of these angels was so great that God's judgment could no longer be delayed. According to the book of Enoch, God sent his most powerful angels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, to bring swift punishment. Shemi-Haza and his followers were bound in chains and cast into the depths of the abyss, where they would remain until the final judgment. Enoch 10 verse 11 to 12. Azazel was cast into a deep pit and buried beneath jagged stones so that he could never again teach his wicked ways to mankind. Enoch 10 verse 4 to 6. But some were never bound. Ancient texts hint that certain fallen angels were never imprisoned, that they still roam the earth, influencing mankind from the shadows. They are not in chains, nor in the abyss, but hidden among us, guiding the rise of secret societies, influencing powerful rulers, and continuing their mission of deception to this day. Their names may have been erased from history, but their presence has never truly faded, and even now, their influence lingers. The fallen angels did not merely corrupt humanity with forbidden knowledge. They sought to build kingdoms of their own, parallel to God's creation. Their influence was not limited to individuals. Entire civilizations rose and fell under their rule. Could it be that these angels established hidden cities, dwelling places where they reigned as gods? And if so, did these cities vanish beneath the floodwaters, or do remnants of them still remain, buried beneath the earth? Ancient texts, myths, and even archaeological discoveries hint at mysterious pre-flood civilizations, places where beings of immense power ruled over mankind. These were not ordinary cities. They were built with knowledge that should not have been in human hands. Iram of the Pillars, the city of divine beings. Deep in the heart of the Arabian desert, there are legends of a lost city called Iram of the Pillars, a place of immense wealth and power, ruled by beings who were not entirely human. The ancient text describes Iram as a mighty city, destroyed by divine wrath, wiped from existence. But some believe Iram was not merely a human settlement. It was a stronghold of fallen angels, a place where they gathered their offspring, the Nephilim, and established a kingdom apart from God. The ruins of this city have never been found. Some say it was swallowed by the sands of time. Others believe its remains still exist, hidden beneath the desert, waiting to be uncovered. Göbekli Tepe, the Temple of the Watchers, estimated to be over 12,000 years old, Turkey. Deep in modern-day Turkey lies Göbekli Tepe, an ancient temple older than any known human civilization. The massive stone pillars, adorned with strange symbols and depictions of unknown creatures, have puzzled archaeologists for decades. How did early humans, who supposedly had no knowledge of advanced construction, build a site of such precision and grandeur? Some researchers believe Göbekli Tepe was not built by mere men, but by beings with knowledge beyond human understanding. In the book of Enoch, the fallen angels taught mankind the secrets of architecture, astronomy, and occult practices. Could Göbekli Tepe be one of the last remnants of these ancient teachings, a temple built not to worship God, but to honor the Watchers? Atlantis, the city that fell under divine judgment. Perhaps the most famous lost city in history, Atlantis. Described by the ancient text, Atlantis was a kingdom of great knowledge and power, a civilization that became so corrupted and wicked that it was destroyed in a single day by divine forces. The Bible tells us of another catastrophic event, the Great Flood, which wiped away the wickedness of the pre-flood world. Genesis chapter 6, verse 5-7. Some believe Atlantis was not just a legend, but a real pre-flood civilization, one that thrived under the rule of the fallen angels and their Nephilim offspring. Could Atlantis have been one of the strongholds of the Watchers? Could its advanced knowledge have come from those who once dwelled in heaven? Many cultures have similar stories. The Sumerians spoke of Eridu, the first city, where gods walked among men. The Mayans tell of Tamawanchan, a lost paradise ruled by divine beings. The Hindus speak of Dwarka, the golden city of Krishna, swallowed by the sea. Are these myths merely coincidental, or are they echoes of a forgotten reality, a time when fallen angels built empires on earth? The fate of these cities. The Bible makes it clear that God's judgment was swift and absolute. Genesis chapter 6, verse 11-13. The earth was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. God did not allow the fallen to rule forever. The Great Flood was not just an act of purification. It was a war against the works of the Watchers. These cities, once filled with power and mystery, were buried beneath the waters, lost to time. But did all of them fall, or are there still remnants hidden beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered? The fallen angels did not act as a united force. Their rebellion against God turned into chaos, a war not just against heaven, but among themselves. The Bible tells us that when the Watchers descended, they took human wives, fathered the Nephilim, and corrupted the earth. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1-4. But what it does not explicitly reveal is that some of these fallen angels, once allies, became enemies. What could have caused a civil war among the fallen? At first, the Watchers acted as one. Led by Shemihaza, they swore an oath together on Mount Hermon, ensuring that none would turn back from their rebellion. Book of Enoch, chapter 6, verse 3-5. But as time passed, their once unified front began to fracture. Some began to realize the horrors of what they had unleashed upon the earth. The corruption of the Nephilim, Genesis chapter 6, verse 5-7. The Nephilim were more than giants. They were ruthless, bloodthirsty, and filled with wickedness beyond imagination. Their hunger could not be satisfied by earthly food, so they turned on humanity, devouring them, drinking their blood, and committing unspeakable acts. Some fallen angels, seeing the destruction their offspring had caused, began to regret their actions. They tried to intervene, to stop the Nephilim from spreading further devastation, but not all the Watchers agreed. Book of Enoch, chapter 7, verse 4-6. The giants turned against them, devouring mankind, and the Watchers quarreled amongst themselves, for some wished to destroy what they had made, while others desired to rule over them. The once loyal angels who followed Shemihaza split into factions. The loyalists, those who had fully embraced the rebellion and sought to rule the earth without opposition. The regretful ones, those who saw the devastation and wanted to undo their mistake, attempting to rein in the Nephilim. Among these fallen angels, Azazel stood at the heart of the corruption. He had taught humanity war, weapons, and bloodshed, and he refused to let go of the world he had built. Enoch chapter 8, verse 1-3. The fallen who wished to undo the damage were overpowered, cast down, and driven into hiding. Some were slain by their own kind, while others were imprisoned by God before the final judgment. As the earth descended into absolute chaos, God had seen enough. The Nephilim's sins had reached their peak, and the Watchers had gone too far. Jude chapter 1, verse 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. The archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel were sent to put an end to this madness. Book of Enoch, chapter 10, verse 9-12. Michael led the charge against Shemihaza and his followers. Gabriel was commanded to destroy the Nephilim. Raphael was sent to bind Azazel and cast him into the abyss. Uriel warned Noah of the coming flood. The battle between the fallen angels and God's messengers shook the heavens and the earth. Lightning and fire rained down, mountains crumbled, and entire cities vanished in divine wrath. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment. Some of the fallen were locked away in Tartarus, a place so dark and terrible that even demons fear it. But others were never imprisoned. What happened to the fallen who escaped? The flood destroyed the Nephilim, but some fallen angels were never bound. Could they still be walking the earth today, hidden among us? Their influence may not be gone, it may just be concealed. What if I told you that the influence of these fallen angels never truly disappeared? That their names, their forbidden knowledge, and their dark influence still linger in our world today? Even though many of these fallen angels were imprisoned in chains, cast into darkness, some escaped judgment and continued their influence among men. But how? Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Across different cultures and throughout history, we find strange connections between ancient gods and the fallen angels from the book of Enoch. Azazel was cast into the abyss, yet ancient desert tribes continued offering sacrifices in his name for centuries. Leviticus chapter 16, verse 10. Kokabel, the angel of the stars, resembles many pagan deities tied to astrology and celestial worship. Barakajal, who taught the secrets of the heavens, is eerily similar to gods like Hermes and Thoth, who were also said to reveal divine knowledge to mankind. Even today, some secret societies and occult groups still invoke these names, using the same symbols, rituals, and knowledge that the fallen once gave to mankind. The book of Enoch describes how fallen angels gave humanity knowledge beyond its time: alchemy, war, magic, and even celestial mechanics. Could this have a connection to the sudden explosion of technology we see today? Some believe that modern advancements, particularly in artificial intelligence and genetic engineering, mirror the forbidden knowledge given by the Watchers before the flood. Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Have we reached a point in history where humanity is once again using knowledge that was never meant for us? Have you ever noticed how certain symbols keep appearing in movies, music videos, and entertainment? The one-eye symbol, associated with watcher angels and hidden knowledge, movies that glorify fallen beings, depicting them as misunderstood heroes, celebrities who openly reference Nephilim, watchers, and ancient deities. Could it be that entertainment industries are subtly continuing the influence of these fallen beings? Are they preparing the world to accept their return? 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. These fallen angels once walked among us, corrupted humanity, and brought divine judgment. Could they still be pulling the strings from behind the scenes today? The truth is hidden in plain sight. Now here's a question for you. If the names of these fallen angels were erased from history for our protection, should we even be speaking them today? Or is it necessary to expose their influence so we can resist them? Let me know what you think in the comments below. We are just getting started. There are still many hidden biblical mysteries waiting to be uncovered. So make sure to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. But remember this: no matter what dark forces exist, God has already won the battle. Stay strong in faith, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.